I recently just made a video on my top 10 favorite updates of all time in old school RuneScape, but I left one very important update out, and it is the Ironman game mode. It's a little biased because it's my favorite game mode that I play, but I thought it deserved an entire video on itself. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about why Ironman was the best update to ever happen to RuneScape in general. And this is honestly my personal opinion, but yeah, anyway, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Now, the first thing I want to say is for players who have been playing for 10 plus years, it's so refreshing. You honestly feel like a noob again, not knowing what to do. Before the Ironman game mode, I maxed 2 accounts in the pre-EOC and I guess during the evolution of combat a little bit as well. But I started my Ironman account in 2017 and it felt like I was playing the game for the very first time again, not knowing exactly the perfect route on how to go through everything. If I needed an item, I could just buy it at the Grand Exchange. It was so refreshing and such a challenge. Having played a main my whole life, thinking about going to do some PVM, for example, buy some Ceridome and Brews, buy this, buy that, buy the gear I need, and then just get a drop, sell that drop, and then buy more supplies. It kind of just is a weird way to think about it. It's kind of like how the world is now, where we work a job and then we get money to buy food and to buy this and to buy that. Think about the Ironman game mode is way back in the day when we, had a farm and we farmed our own stuff and stuff. It's really cool when you actually think about it. You get to learn so much about the game, as I was saying. Like, you get to learn these random little items that you didn't know existed. You get to learn why doing this quest actually helps so much. You get to learn why this boss is in the game. And honestly, there's just so much learning potential with the Ironman game mode. Like I said, before the Ironman game mode, I was already playing the game for 10 plus years and I didn't know anything. Like, I literally felt like I was playing this game for the very first time again. It's super refreshing. And the reason it's so refreshing is that everything you do on a main account, you don't really realize what it actually took to get there. If that makes any sense, right? So say you go and buy some Torva from the Grand Exchange, you buy like all these things, right? You don't realize the actual work and dedication that it took to get a thing from a ball of wool all the way to like a piece of Torva, right? Every single item in the game has some work that has been done in order to get it. And you don't really experience this playing a main account as much. Let's put it this way, on a main account, you could do something like Zulrah forever, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours, and just learn that one piece of content and then have enough money to buy whatever you want in the game without having to learn what it took to actually get those items. But as an Ironman account, you get to realize all of the work that it takes to get something, like I said, as simple as a ball of wool all the way up to a Torva plate body, for example, right? You get to realize and experience what it actually takes to get that, and you learn so much by doing this, and it's honestly a blast. And it's so true when you first start the game and you get something like very simple, like a rune scimitar drop from a fire giant, right? It will make your night. The exact same dopamine, the exact same excitement it would be, say, getting a purple at the Tombs of a Masket on a main account, right? When you're first starting that Ironman account, everything you get is so huge. Even completing a little quest here and there, finishing something that has maybe taken you a very long time, it's just so refreshing, so rewarding to actually do it, and just knowing that you've done everything yourself without trading another player. And you realize that the game actually makes sense, right? Every skill has a purpose, every quest has a purpose, every NPC and every town has a purpose in the game, right? Which you don't really understand if you just play a main account, right? There's some main accounts that don't know how to make a strength potion, and I'm not even lying as I say that, right? Because what's the point of training Herblore on a main account unless it's for a quest requirement? Or unless you want to get 99, or unless you want to max, right? There's no reason to ever learn how to do that, right? You can just buy a strength potion, get on with your Slayer task, and enjoy the game. I've liked the Ironman game mode so much that I wanted to make this YouTube channel and show people how exciting and how much fun the Ironman game mode is and show my journey along the way. So I've been playing for 6 years. I started this account back in 2017 and I haven't looked back since. It's been so much fun, so rewarding, and this is the only game mode I can actually stick to. I've played a main and I've tried to play a UIM recently, and I will get back to those other 2 accounts, but there's a grind that comes up on my Ironman and it fully takes over. I used to always multi-log, play 2 accounts at the same time, but I've been learning the raids on my Ironman account now, and I just can't seem to stop playing. Another thing is I've always been a skiller, not a killer when it comes to this game. And what I mean by that is I've always preferred, chopping trees, fishing, and doing farming rather than Slayer and PVM. And it kind of reflects on how it was pre-EOC. Being an Ironman account, having to do everything yourself has really motivated me to step out of my shell from just comfortable skilling and go into PVM, go into Slayer. Honestly, I can say that Slayer is by far my favorite skill in the entire game. There's just so much variety with it, so much difference all the time rather than just simply cooking, for example, right? There's so much different things you can do with Slayer, and there's just endless amounts of content with it, and I just love that about the game, right? That I probably never would have really gotten super into if it wasn't for the Ironman game mode. Let's put it this way, a toxic blowpipe costs about 2 million GP, which you could easily get on any type of account. But for me, I had to kill over 2,000 Zulrah until I was able to get that as a drop, and it really made me respect that item and see how valuable it actually is. It's not a 2 million GP drop to me, it is the best range weapon that I've ever gotten. It's made me really dive deep into different types of content, like learning the raids and also learning the corrupted gauntlet, which is something I don't think I ever personally would have done. I would have gotten too frustrated playing a main account when I could just buy the item from the Grand Exchange, right? But not having the option to buy it, and the only way you can get that is by learning the content and actually doing it and getting lucky with the drop. It hits different, man. I've made over 1.5 billion GP on my Ironman account. It's probably the wealthiest account that I've ever had in the game. I might have had more money on like EOC. I used to own a Santa hat back in the day and stuff like that, but this is my favorite bank account that I've ever had. Just knowing every single item I earned myself. And also each item has a backstory to it, right? I didn't just simply buy it. It has a backstory. I killed this boss to get it, or I finished this quest or this achievement diary to get it, or I spent 100 hours fishing to get this amount of food, type of stuff like that. And I actually did max my Ironman account, which is kind of crazy. When I first made the account, I never even set that as a goal. I really didn't think it was possible for me personally to ever max an account. But the things that were really holding me back were like the regular things like agility. You don't want to train agility all the way to 99, or say rune crafting, for example. I personally really like rune crafting, but I thought, how am I going to get all those pure essence to end up getting 99 rune crafting, right? I mean, good thing they made some updates like Zaya rune crafting, Guardians of the Rift, but when I first made this account, I never was like, yes, I'm going to max it. If I didn't love the Ironman game mode so much, I definitely wouldn't have spent the time on maxing this account. It has been such a fun journey, and I've literally enjoyed every single step of the way, being 10,000 kills drive for my Dragon Warhammer, or like I said, grinding 99 agility for hundreds of hours. It just felt so much more rewarding doing it on an account where you can't trade other players, and every single thing that you've done and every item that you've achieved actually means something, and it's just so good. I've said this a ton in the past that I don't think I would even be playing old school RuneScape today if it wasn't for the Ironman game mode. That's what really made me burn out of other RuneScape accounts in the past, or even the evolution of combat. Maybe it was the bad updates that were making me really burn out of the game, but the Ironman game mode, there's always something to do, right? Like, I have a maxed account now, and I have a bigger list of things I want to do than when I was going for the max cape, which is actually kind of crazy to think about. A lot of people complain that a lot of the updates that Jagex makes are targeted towards the Ironman game mode, and I would agree with this. A lot of updates that I see, certain bosses and certain loot tables, kind of are a benefit for Ironman accounts, which totally makes sense for Jagex's point of view. A lot of people love and enjoy the Ironman game mode, and I seriously would highly recommend anyone to give it a chance, even if they still want to play their main account. by all means, play 2 accounts at once. I think you should give the Ironman game mode out a chance, and you won't regret it. You'll have so much fun. I've had countless of people comment to me saying I was gonna quit this game, but now I'm addicted again because the Ironman game mode, and maybe I'm sorry about that, but yeah, it's honestly just a blast. Now, like I said at the start of the video, this is just my personal opinion, and I truly do think that the Ironman game mode is the best update that we have ever gotten into the game. It's literally just transformed the game into something like a regular MMO where you have the trading posts and all this, to a game that's an MMO that you can actually be self-sufficient in and play as almost a single player game mode. It's just so cool, and I don't know how this really affects the economy or whatever, but personally I love the Ironman game mode, and it's my favorite update that we have ever gotten in the game. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the video today. If you want to head and watch the whole video, as always, comment tuna down in the comments below. I appreciate it. Thank you guys, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya later.